It took about 48 hours before the head of the homicide squad, Dean Thomas, he came out and named Erin Patterson as someone of interest. That meant, obviously, in terms of her, it was pretty much game on.
So tell me, Ferg, when did you first find out about the mass poisoning in Leongatha?
It was on the Saturday morning of August the 5th, 2023, about an hour before police raided Erin Patterson's house. It's hard to say, but you'd suspect they did the raids because we found out about what had happened, or at least what we learned initially was that there'd been basically a mass poisoning, and we weren't really sure exactly what was behind it.
And so how did those days pan out after you broke that original story?
It took about 48 hours before the head of the homicide squad, Dean Thomas, he came out and named Erin Patterson as someone of interest, that meant, obviously, in terms of her, it was pretty much game on, because essentially she was the only one of the guests that hadn't been sick. So from then on, it was really a case of trying to find out what had actually happened, who is or was Erin Patterson, who was Simon Patterson, her husband, and trying to piece together basically as much about her and her family as we possibly could. And that took a while, but slowly we started to get a bit of an idea about what was going on.
And so tell me, Ferg, this case has attracted incredible media interest. How did that grow sort of as the days went on?
It got a life of itself. Basically, I think the nature of this idea of an alleged mass poisoning involving mushrooms, I think that brought in Europe and other countries where poison mushrooms are a real issue. And then I think it was just the uniqueness of it, that you had a really highly educated woman eventually who was charged with 3 counts of murder and other charges. So it was a really unique story. She was a woman of means. She's Erin Patterson has money. She's a multi-millionaire. I wouldn't say, she's not a rich lister, but she's definitely well off by these parts. And also then you've got the other element that Simon Patterson's family come from very much churchgoers. So there's a big religion element to it as well. So it's sort of, I still can't quite work out exactly why it had such a big following, particularly overseas. But I think people just saw it as being a really unique story. And I think the mushroom element and this idea that someone may have tried to poison, the in-laws as well. I mean, that's got another element to it, I think.
Now, Ferg, you met Erin Patterson. Tell us about when you met Erin.
Oh, yeah, look, we had a brief, had a few minutes with her, and I suppose I picked up really, really quickly that she's extremely bright, just from the nature of the conversation. She was pretty angry, she was sick of journalists, but I could tell also there was something, let's just say, not completely normal around the way she was responding. She was clearly stressed, but the number one thing was that I could tell she's really bright, and that's kind of unusual because usually when you end up in any sorts of big, alleged crime stories, they tend to be, if it's not white collar crime, it tends to be lower socioeconomic. Whereas you could see here, this woman of means, from everything that we're told, she's a good mother. And extremely well educated. So there's a few sort of little differences in this story, I think.
Ferg, you've been in Morwell or Traralgon for 10 weeks now. How have you found covering the trial?
Oh, look, I've really enjoyed it. Professionally, I mean, obviously, and I suppose I should really stress, just that there is a very, very big human toll in this. So three dead people, and one seriously ill person from the lunch. But if you look at the broader being in Morwell, I think it's been really quite different. I think this would have been a very different trial had it been held in Melbourne. I think being in the country, having a jury that's been drawn from the local community, puts a completely different complexion to things. I'm from the country, so I kind of enjoy being out of the city, and I enjoy being around the people. It's Morwell in particular has had a lot of financial difficulties because of its economically struggles since the scaling back privatisation of the power industry in the 90s. So it's sort of interesting seeing all that up close, and I'm just really impressed with the locals. They're good value, just good honest people.